What do you do when you fall off the horse? Don't give up. You pick yourself up and you get right back on that horse, no matter the circumstances. Need more star-studded inspiration to learn this lesson? Today we are sharing the stories of 10 celebrities who have come back from rock bottom. Welcome to Rankworthy, the show where we rank just about everything. In the late 1990s, Natasha Lyonne was your go-to actor for Gen X comedy staples like Slums of Beverly Hills, American Pie, and But I'm a Cheerleader. Unfortunately, her newfound stardom led to a period of addiction and troubling violent outbursts. Among her trials and tribulations, Lyonne wrecked her car, contracted hepatitis C, and was hospitalized in 2005 for a heart infection, collapsed lung, and ongoing issues with drugs. Unlike her starring role in Russian Doll, Lyonne was able to turn her life around, thanks in part to her instantly iconic role in Netflix's Orange is the New Black. She plays Nikki Nichols, a brash, tough-talking convict who shows surprising vulnerability. Lyonne said that she was able to use her own troubled past to flesh out Nichols' backstory, and she earned an Emmy nomination. Fiendishly fashionable English comic Russell Brand broke through to American audiences in Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Get Him to the Greek. In both films, he played Aldous Snow, a hard-drinking, womanizing rock star with a troubled past. Unfortunately, Brand's real past is full of issues and concerns much stranger than fiction. Before he turned 11, Brand was already dealing with bulimia and an undiagnosed case of bipolar disorder. He also became addicted to heroin, crack cocaine, and sex right when he became famous in England. The day after the September 11th attacks, Brand showed up to work as an MTV VJ dressed as Osama bin Laden. He was promptly fired and then promptly started to clean up his act. He's been sober since 2002. The Phoenix family was beset by harrowing pain and trauma in the 1990s. River and Leif Phoenix, two talented brothers, were beginning to take the acting world by storm. Then tragically, River overdosed and died in 1993. Leif retreated from the public eye and changed his name to Joaquin. When he returned to acting, he began to cultivate acclaim in titles like Gladiator, The Village, and Walk the Line. However, this newfound acclaim resulted in familiar problems. In the mid-2000s, Phoenix checked into rehab for alcohol addiction and went on another self-imposed acting break. He also suffered from a potentially life-ending car crash and was rescued by, of all people, film director Werner Herzog. He's now back on top, earning high praise in The Master, Her, and the upcoming Joker film. Rob Lowe was one of the biggest faces of the Brat Pack, a group of 1980s film actors who lit up the screen in incisive examinations of teenage angst like St. Elmo's Fire and The Outsiders. But in 1988, Lowe became the center of a torrid sex scandal when he was caught on tape having sex with two women in Atlanta while campaigning for Democratic presidential candidate Michael Dukakis. Lowe was 24 at the time, but one of the women was only 16. In Georgia, the age of sexual consent was 14, so technically Lowe was not breaking any laws. But the moral implications damned Lowe for some time, until he admitted to alcoholism, became sober, and started making self-deprecating appearances in comedies. Now he's enjoyed a second wind in beloved works like The West Wing and Parks and Recreation. For Nicole Richie, the simple life was not so simple. In the 2000s, she was enjoying a vault to superstardom thanks to her on-screen friendship with Paris Hilton and famous father, Lionel. However, her ascent was marked by a rapid series of personal downfalls. It began with weight issues, as she admitted to CNN that she felt personally responsible for warping young girls' body perceptions of being too thin. From that point on, Richie struggled with heroin and alcohol addiction and was arrested several times as a result. She picked fights with people in NYC nightclubs, and she drove under the influence, even entering onto a California freeway via the exit ramp. Eventually, Richie entered rehab and has turned the corner into a fulfilling life. She's regularly engaged in philanthropic work and was remarkably funny on the NBC sitcom Great News. The son of acclaimed actor Donald, Kiefer Sutherland made it big as a sort of a dark spin-off of the Brat Pack. While Brat Pack movies stayed relatively innocent, Sutherland made us swoon with fear in cult classics like Flatliners, Young Guns, and The Lost Boys. But in his personal life, Sutherland was lost in his own self-created darkness. Sutherland dealt with alcoholism during much of his stardom, racking up 4 DUI charges since 1989. He also screwed up a potential marriage to Julia Roberts because of an alleged affair with a go-go dancer. And as recently as 2009, Sutherland was arrested for headbutting a fashion designer. Still, Sutherland has made attempts to clean up his act among his star-making turn in 24 and his burgeoning country music career. When you think of Angelina Jolie, you likely think of adopting underprivileged children, countless humanitarian efforts, and high-profile relationships with Hollywood's most beautiful stars. In other words, Jolie is the epitome of celebrity class. It's a huge testament to her personal work that she's been able to change her narrative, which in the mid-2000s was much different. Jolie's darkness may have began with her estranged father, actor Jon Voight. She also engaged in a bizarre relationship with Billy Bob Thornton. There was also the time she full-on kissed her brother at the Academy Awards. All of Jolie's issues culminated in self-harm and abuse. Thus, she began to turn her life around into the example of positivity we know today. If you're a member of the Barrymore family, two things are likely. You're going to be a world-famous actor, and you're going to have a lot of public alcohol-infused breakdowns. For Drew, the granddaughter of John, to the point where at age 7, she hosted Saturday Night Live and made a joke about alcohol addiction. How did the decade-spanning career of Drew Barrymore almost self-destruct? By the age of 14, Barrymore had been a regular at Studio 54, entered and exited rehab twice, stayed in an institute for mental illness, and attempted suicide. By the age of 15, she emancipated herself and moved into her own apartment. And from that point on, she's regularly maintained a simultaneously rebellious, yet sweet persona on and off screen. Now, she's definitively calmed down and enjoys a stint on Netflix's Santa Clarita Diet. Chris Crocker was absolutely right. We all need to leave Britney alone. Spears is one of our most indelible pop stars, creating absolute classics like Baby One More Time, Oops, I Did It Again, and Toxic. And she has gone through infamous patches of wilderness and unfairly public examinations of her mental health that continue to this day. There's the time she shaved her head and attacked paparazzi with an umbrella, the time she married Kevin Federline and made a strange reality show, the time she was forcibly held in a psychiatric ward. Now, Spears has made a full 180, producing new singles and enjoying a residency in Las Vegas. But she still struggles with outside forces attempting to control the future of her mental health. He's regularly the highest paid actor in all of Hollywood. He's revolutionized the way we interact with cinema. And he turned his on-screen status as muckraking social disruptor into real-life action, starting the Footprint Coalition in order to fight climate change. But Robert Downey Jr.'s iron was forged under the most intense of circumstances. By the 1990s, Downey Jr. harbored a serious drug addiction and was arrested multiple times for possession of cocaine, heroin, and even weapons. He wound up spending over a year incarcerated, earning 8 cents an hour cleaning dishes for the LA County Jail. When he re-emerged into society, he vowed sobriety, began appearing in critically acclaimed films, and well, the rest of his history is truly a marvel to behold. And that's it! Check back next time to find out what else is Rankworthy.